Now we have some first-generation students here in the studio to tell us about their college experiences at USC. Before we get started with our discussion, why don't you all introduce yourselves?
I'm Javen.
Hi, I'm MJ.
Hi, I'm Dongpin.
So starting with you, Javen, why was college so important for you?
For me, I saw around me a lot of lifestyles I didn't want to partake in, so I knew that the only way I was going to be able to get out of that and kind of break, this cycle was to get my education.
Personally, I come from a single mother household where my mom only completed some middle school and she immigrated from Mexico to the United States so I could come to school here. So even as a young 8-year-old, I never thought about college as an option. It was, I had to do it, and not just for survival, but also to be able to give back to my community.
For me, I think knowledge is the reason that drives me to go to the college, because I saw that my parents, they didn't go to college, so they cannot give me enough knowledge to know about the world, and I would like to explore more. So that's the reason I go to the college and continue to go to graduate school here.
Now, as first-generation college students, what issues have you all dealt with that maybe other students don't necessarily understand or don't have to deal with?
I think that the most difficult thing that I've had to deal with is just that where I come from, not many people go to college, and so there's not really a great understanding of what going to college means and the kind of sacrifices you make to do that. And even more so is that people can't conceptualize that you put in this time and work now so that you can have the payoff later. So for me, the hardest thing really is just breaking out of the mindset of wanting to achieve greater than what you're being presented. As a foster care student, a lot of times you're not really told that you can be a doctor or a lawyer or go into a profession. It's kind of assumed that you're just going to go into low-skilled jobs. So for me, that's been the hardest thing, is to pursue that and break out of that mentality.
I think for me, it took me a while to get over the feeling that I didn't belong here. It was really intimidating to walk into a classroom knowing that most of the kids in there had parents that not only went to college but probably came to USC, or at least older siblings that came here. And it always felt like people knew everything that they had to know already. It always felt like they had already read the books, they had already, applied for everything that they wanted to. I didn't even know how to, meet with an advisor or how to look for study abroad programs. And so it was just kind of starting from scratch. And even though, my high school would talk about college, they never actually told us what that meant and what it would actually take to be here and stay here.
I think the most difficult thing for me, because I'm from the first generation family, so I do not have a very clear direction in my career path, because my parents know nothing about college and the things will happen beyond that. So I have to figure out everything by myself, to learn every stuff I can learn, to grab every new skills I can learn, to be able to find out more about what we are going on afterwards. I think that's the most difficult part.
And do you think USC has done enough to help you as well as other first-generation students, or what else should they be doing?
I feel like that's a tough question. There's so few of us. There are a few organizations on campus, as far as TGS, First Generation Scholarship, Mentorship Program. And while those are really helpful, they're very small and they don't have much as far as resources to help as much as they should. And sometimes I think some students fall through the cracks, whether it means not hearing about the programs or them not being able to be helped in that way. As MJ is saying, it's very hard, when you don't have that knowledge that, the parents to kind of fall back and be, how do I do this? It's all up to you, or whatever resources you have at this school. And while there are some in place, I think there should be a lot more.
I think I've been very lucky in that I found great mentors very early in my time here at USC. So One of them being Dr. George Sanchez, who's the Vice Dean for Diversity and Strategic Initiatives in Dorns Life. So he heads a lot of the programs that target first-gen students, TGS, and students of color and things like that. So I've been very, very lucky, but I do see a lot of students not knowing that these are available or how to tap into them. But most importantly, building community across like Annenberg, Dorns Life, Marshall, because it's scary, right? And so I think that UST just needs to be more transparent with what is available. But I also think that it's about educating other students and you know, like letting them know the experiences that we've been through. So things like this are very important. And I think it's changing the culture around what being first gen means. Some people don't even know what that means. And so when you're in a classroom and no one really understands your background, but they expect you to understand their background, I think that's where the problems start.
Yeah. Well, I think USC has been improving in this aspect of providing more and more like networking chances or like workshop opportunity events for the first generation. And I mean, it's my 5th year here, and it's still like sometime around last month when I've been took part in this networking event that I first know, well, we have a community here that I can find help and connect with people.
Thank you all for sharing your experiences with us here today. If you would like to share your story, you can reach us on social media using the hashtag #TheCurrentSC.